This is the Eve Experience. I'm Nexomni, and today we're going to be talking about fits that I use in Red vs. Blue. As you can see here, I'm rocking out the Merlin, one of my favorite holes. It is a Buffer Merlin, not an active tank Merlin, as active tank Merlins are a little more skill point intensive, as well as they lose the web utility due to a cap booster more often than not. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Merlin. It has 4 high slots, 4 medium slots, and 2 low slots, as well as 400 calibration points for its 3 rig slots. In a previous video I said that I was going to be training for an active tanked Merlin. This is still true, however it is skill point intensive to make sure that you can boost through other people's DPS. So starting out with low skill points, I decided to switch over to a Buffer Merlin, though my preferred playstyle is either active tanking or speed tanking. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Buffer Merlin specifically and what its strengths and weaknesses are in this fit. The key to fitting a Buffer Merlin is exactly that, fitting a buffer, which in this case, because it's a Caldari Frigate, includes the use of a medium shield extender instead of a small shield extender, even though you're on a frigate hull. The real trick to doing this is power grid, and that's why in one of your low slots you end up fitting a micro auxiliary power core, as you can see here, next to my damage control. The other power grid intensive modules that the shield extender has to compete with is your guns and your rocket launchers, as well as your prop mod. Once you've fitted all that, it's very important to get the appropriate rigs. Some people argue that rigs are too expensive for low level, low SP PvP, but if you want to compete, you have to have them. So what you do is you get 2 small core defense field extenders, as well as an anti-EM screen reinforcer, as you can see here. Once you fit all of that, you have 2 medium slots left, one for your point, one for your web. That is one reason why I really enjoy the Caldari hulls, because of their abundance of mid slots. It gives you more opportunities and more modules that you can do in different combinations. In this instance, it's tanking with one of its modules, but it gives you enough room to also do a web. This particular Buffer Merlin takes a few days to train into, but it's well worth the time, as it'll last you a very long time. You can solo with it, and you can also do fleet warfare with it. With that, let's go ahead and switch over to one of my other favorite hulls, even though it doesn't have all the potential that the Merlin has, is the Kestrel. There's a few ways to fit a Kestrel in my opinion. You can do rockets, light missiles, buffer, or gank. The first one I'm going to show you is a Buffer Kestrel. It follows the same basic rules that a Buffer Merlin does. You have to use a micro auxiliary power core and fit a medium shield extender. This only leaves 2 mid slots for your prop and your point. However, you get better range, as well as exclusively using missiles, which I personally enjoy. The next Kestrel fit I'm going to show you is the Gank Kestrel. It has no tank, and I use it specifically for fleet warfare. For this Kestrel, you still use rocket launchers. However, you do not have to use a micro auxiliary power core in one of your lows, because you're not trying to fit a medium shield extender, so you free up a lot of power grid. By doing this, you're able to fit a web, and you're also able to fit a ballistic control to help with the gank and the lowers. This fit, like most of my low SP fits, has an afterburner instead of a micro warp drive, mostly because they're difficult to fit when you're trying to fit everything. However, you can fit a micro warp drive on this gank fit if you really choose to, but it doesn't really help you too much. The last fit we're going to talk about shouldn't be used solo, and shouldn't be used very often actually. It's the Condor. And the Condor is a completely worthless hull, except for it's one of the fastest Caldari frigates for low SP characters. So the reason why I'm going to talk about it today is that it's a hero tackler. And that's exactly what it's made for, that's exactly what it does. It burns to a target, it tackles them, and waits for the fleet to show up. Usually your Condor ends up dying before the fleet shows up, but as I will show at the end of this video, a really awesome hero tackle I got in my Hero-tackling Condor on a Navy issue chronicle. Fitting a Condor isn't difficult, and it's hard at the same time. If you actually want it to have guns and other things, then you can go ahead and slap them on for a little bit more DPS on that kill mail when you're hero tackling. But for me, the most important thing is basically getting a micro warp drive on there, getting a nanofiber in the one low, and then using rigs just to go faster. This is just a low SP hero tackler. It should be used for just that, nothing else. And with that, let's go ahead and switch over to fleet comms so you can see what this Hero-tackling Condor can actually achieve. In this video, I burn for a Navy issue chronicle that's about 100 and something K away. I tackle him, I go down, but not before someone else burns in behind me and gets the secondary tackle.
Navy chronicle on the field?
Navy chronicle. Anyone that gets the point on that?
I'm gonna burn out and get a point on Saren, that'd be great. Salvage you're out looting, or salvage you're out salvaging, so make sure that you check the loot cans too.
If someone warps to 70 or 100 from planet 6 or planet 8, they might be able to land right on top of him. I'm burning towards him. He's gonna start shooting me in a minute. Go, Condor.
Go, Nex. Everyone, get to that Navy issue chronicle.
Coming in for a second. Burn.
Everyone, burn to that Condor.
X up, the Condor X up.
He's not burning.
Ah, damn.
Did he warp?
Nope, secondary point, scram web on him.
Great job.